Let's speak plainly. National debt is a lie. Not in the conspiratorial sense, not in the way grifters whisper about hidden cabals or globalist plots. No, it's worse. It's systemic. It's accepted. It's taught, and it's utterly meaningless. Let's take it from the top. What is debt? Debt is a promise, a quantified agreement that something will be returned with interest. It only functions in a context of scarcity, when the resources being promised are rare, when the act of exchange is a matter of survival or opportunity. That's the origin. But we don't live in that world anymore. Not materially, not technologically, not energetically. We live in a world where the capacity to produce what people need, food, housing, energy, medicine, is no longer bottlenecked by human labor or raw material limits. It's bottlenecked by policy, by permission, by intent. We don't grow less because we can't. We grow less because we've decided some people shouldn't have enough. And debt is the language that excuses that decision. So when you hear a politician say, "We can't afford universal health care," or "There's no money for public housing," remember this. We had no money during the Great Depression either. And yet, the moment war was declared, we mobilized steel, oil, logistics, and labor at a scale never seen before. Not because we found the money, but because we found the will. Jacques Fresco pointed out clearly, the capacity existed. The resources were there. The story changed, and with it, the machinery moved. This is what Enlightenment socialism exposes, that civilization isn't built on money. It's built on coordination. The real economy is not Wall Street. It's not the bond market. It's not central banks. The real economy is the food in your fridge, the power in your walls, the time in your day. It is infrastructure, energy, access, not digits. Let's get clearer. National debt is not like personal debt. Nations are not households. They don't balance checkbooks. They issue their own currency, control their own supply chains, and decide through legislation what to fund and what to withhold. So when a government says it's broke, that's not an economic fact. That's a political decision. And here's the thing, nobody even expects national debts to be paid off. They're not meant to be paid. They're meant to be managed indefinitely, rolled over, reissued, used as collateral to demand austerity from the public while the private sector gets bailed out. It's not an obligation. It's a lever. But levers only work if people believe in them, and that belief is what's breaking now. Because in a post-scarcity trajectory where automation decouples labor from survival, where energy becomes renewable and decentralized, and where material abundance becomes a design problem, not a production one, debt becomes a joke. You don't need a mortgage for a 3D printed house made of local biomaterials. You don't need a loan for education when the entire corpus of human knowledge can be accessed without gatekeepers. You don't need to finance a car when your city provides transit as a right. So why are we still pretending debt is real? Because it justifies the withholding of access. It lets systems say, we could feed you, house you, free you, but you haven't earned it yet. It lets people in power act as if the ledger matters more than the living. But here's the Enlightenment socialist response. The ledger is not sacred. Life is. The purpose of civilization is not to balance accounts. It's to liberate consciousness, to create the conditions for self-authorship, dignity, and flourishing. And any system that says your child can't receive medicine because of an abstract deficit is not a system. It's a cage. Now, let's address the common refrain. If we erase debt, won't the system collapse? Of course it will, because it's a system designed to collapse the moment it can't extract. That's the point. You don't patch a failing parasite, you replace it. Debt cancellation isn't radical, it's overdue. It's the reset button that history has pressed before. Through jubilees, through revolutions, through collapses we romanticize after the fact. But now, we can do it without collapse. We can do it with intention. Because the tools exist. Because the labor exists. Because the energy flows. And because no equation, no spreadsheet, no debt ceiling matters more than the breath in your lungs and the food on your table. The next civilization won't ask what you owe. It will ask what you need. And it will provide, not out of charity, but out of alignment with the truth that you are not a debtor to be managed. You are a life to be supported. That's not utopian. That's engineering. That's philosophy. That's what comes after the illusion dies. Debt is not real, but your time is. Your mind is. Your potential is. So let's stop letting fiction define the future and start designing a world where truth sets the terms.